There's a peaceful solution. It's called a peace revolution. Now let's take back America. There's a war and we're in it, but I know we can win it. So let's take back America.
I think historically, the most accurate analogy for George W. Bush will be Nero. That at the critical moment, he failed to act when we could have really mitigated a lot of the negative consequences of global warming.
What's happening is natural climate change, because historically it's been shown that there's been magnetic polar shifts on the Earth and crazy climate changes. However, I do also feel that humanity has certainly accelerated that change.
We may be past the point of no return in terms of the melting of Greenland and the western Antarctic ice shelf. What that will mean is we'll lose parts of Florida, the Gulf Coast, New Orleans, parts of Manhattan, many islands around the world. That 20-foot sea level rise.
I don't know at this point if a lot of those effects are reversible, but I do believe that the time is now.
This will be the biggest issue that any of us will face in our lifetime. Much bigger than terrorism, much bigger than anything else.
Everything is melting down up north, like the bear and the whales are suffering because there is a lack of ice. Big countries like Canada or US or even in Europe does not do something about their own pollution, well then there's no solution. Everyone has to do something.
I'd be very happy to buy a hydrogen-run car or whatever the case may be, even if it costs more on the front end. I think we got to do something. The world oil supply is going to run out probably in my lifetime.
Our planet is, I feel, going through a metamorphosis, and that's partly natural, but has been sprung by human beings' lack of respect for the earth.
Correlation between global warming and man's presence on and our use of fossil fuels, I think that the jury's still out on that.
Because we've consumed so much, and because that's been the pinnacle of the American dream, the rest of the world wants to be in the same place.
You know, I was a science teacher, so I'm really interested in this sort of thing. Global warming is taking place on the planet Mars, as well as on the planet Earth. Now you tell me what activity is going on Mars that's contributing to this.
We may find out a decade or 20 years from now that over the last 100 years the planet was cooling. And there's some evidence that in the short term we're warming, but in the long term we're cooling.
We may be warming up right now, but it won't be many years, maybe 2 or 3 more lifetimes, that we may be in some sort of a deep freeze.
In the mid-70s, all the science journals were worried about global cooling, new ice age. So, you know, which is it?
This Mother Earth at any moment could shake us off like a bunch of fleas, so I think she's going to be okay in our lifetime, but to provide for our future, the kids, it is a huge concern.
You know, there's concerns about everything, actually. I just want my kids to grow up in, you know, a safe world, and everything's changing, you know. I think it's, I don't know, it's pretty scary.
To kind of think if we don't make a giant step towards harnessing ourselves, then the future is grim.
They just don't bother me.
You don't think it'll have any effect on your children or your grandchildren or anything like that? And is that based on any, you know,
No, just belief that I have that I just don't have any opinion on it, really.
Be a pretty, I think, moronic person not to believe in global warming. The evidence is irrefutable.
I know that it's such a grand concept, like global warming, and there's nothing you can do because you're a person, but what you're doing individually in your own daily life.
To look inside ourselves as Americans and make a profound shift at a very quick pace.
And it may mean giving up some of our materialistic things that we all have grown to love and feel like we can afford because we have credit cards.
You know, the individual doing stuff is great, but our policies need to be, that needs to be our policy, that we're going to be energy efficient.
It's something beyond what individuals can do. It's what governments themselves have to do on our behalf.
You know, that's what the Obama administration says they're striving towards, and working with the world to get there and try to maybe just give us a little bit more time on the planet before it completely, you know, coughs us off.
They're cutting around a lot of rainforest. They're not having enough carbon monoxide taken in by the trees. That's why it's getting hotter and hotter each year due to everyone cutting down trees. We need to save more trees and cut down the cars.
Carbon dioxide can be consumed in the atmosphere by certain plants, and no, I'm not really, I don't freak out about global warming at all. Absolutely not.
I think that everybody should be thinking about the long run, you know, the long-term effects of what we do. You know, we shouldn't be so concerned with just the here and now, not only ourselves. It's kind of selfish.
Amazing how much we are doing to harm the environment and how much we could just take away our SUVs, use a little less electricity. I mean, it's not that easy, but I think there's a lot of things that we are doing that are not necessary and that could stop global warming, could improve the environment.
I think probably we need to set something up like the Manhattan Project, but pumping lots of money and getting the best brains around and have them working on this instead of some of the other bogus horseshit they're working on.
What would it take to change these potential problems for everyone to do something? It would not be that major, so why not err on the side of safety?
I think recycling is at least the smallest, maybe the smallest step that you can take, you know, but it's really a large step ahead.
Please remember to like, share, or leave a comment.